Hey guys, welcome back again to Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, where the proof is in the singing. I'm continuing my series on how to sing like. Next up, one of my all-time favorite vocalists is Mr. David Coverdale, originally from Deep Purple, and then you know him probably from Whitesnake. Before we get started, if you wouldn't mind, please like and subscribe to my channel. That'd be really cool. Don't forget to ring the bell so I can keep cool videos coming your way. And I have a singing course. It's called How to Sing Better Than Anyone Else. For you guys out there wanting to learn how to sing in these great styles, I cover all this stuff in my singing course. You can find it right here at kentamplinvocalacademy.com. And I have a free singing forum. You can sign up for the forums, kind of kick the tires a little bit, see if it's right for you. But I want to dive right into David. Now, David has been a tremendous influence on me. And I think I just mentioned in one of my other videos, I did a Lou Gramm video. I'd said that Lou Gramm is probably my most influential, mentor, singer, whatever person I've looked up to for singing. And David Coverdale will probably be second. So I'm going to put some David up and we're just going to go through some stuff. Now, I think of David as the Deep Purple years and the Whitesnake years. So they're kind of different. But I want to emphasize too that a lot of the stuff that David Coverdale did early on with Deep Purple was in conjunction with Glenn Hughes. So I'm going to do another one on Glenn Hughes. So even on a couple of these pieces, like this first one, Mistreated, that I'm going to put up, I know that they had some exchange between the two of them where, Glenn Hughes would sing some parts, David would sing some parts, and they'd come together in the chorus and stuff. But I'm going to focus predominantly on David, the way he sang it. And if you look up things like Cal Jam 1, I think it is, or 2, where Deep Purple is playing live, David actually sings the verses and all this stuff, even though, like I said on the records and some other stuff, they're interchangeable between him and Glenn Hughes. But I'm going to focus on David, so you fanatics out there, fans, with man love for Glenn and for David like me, please don't bust my chops. Oh, on the record, Glenn sang that part, or on live version of blah, 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 David sang that part. I know. Let me just get through this so I can talk about it, and then I'll get to Glenn when it's time for Glenn, okay? So with that said, here we go. We're going to dive right in. Mistreated. I've been mistreated. I've been abused. I've been struck down hearted, baby. I've been confused. Okay, now, first things first. I'm combining some things that David doesn't do because it's how my technique works. Let me explain. David is an old American car hemi engine. He's just a giant roaring 8-cylinder. That's his voice. That's the way he treated his voice. That's the way he sung his stuff. Everything was a roaring lion, okay? To some degree, Dio was like that too, but his was a little more controlled. And I'm bringing Dio up for a reason. His was a little more controlled, and if you notice, he could hang his notes longer, and it was a little more operatic sounding. Glenn could hang his notes a little more than David also, and he used a raised laryngeal position. I'm not going to get into those two guys. I'll handle them separately in their own categories. I just want to focus on David. For me, when I sang Mistreated, he sang, I've been mistreated. And he was really short and stabby on the way he sang his phrases. Love the tone, love the phrasing, love the distortion, love the power, all that. He would compress his air more like a street guy. And so he would get his tone, derive his tone more from choking off himself in the throat to get those sounds. I want to repeat the opening lines here, and I want you to listen to how I create what's called open throat technique. It's an old operatic technique to where I can actually have greater access of the notes with the similar or my own tone. Let's just say it that way. I was going to say better or worse because it's my own. But it gives me access to a lot more range, a lot more freedom, a lot more longevity of holding the notes, more freedom in the throat. And when I say more range, I mean more range also in stamina for like long-term singing. So listen closely to the way I'm opening my vowels compared to the way David or Glenn would open theirs. Now, Dio's another thing. I'll get to him later, but check this out. Let's do it again. Honey, baby. chorus again. So it sounds like David with a little bit of Dio open throat in it. Cry down hearted, baby. Right, it's real open and round. Right? Instead of, baby, I've been confused, and I don't mind, so take me down slow and easy. Right? His stabs are a lot faster. They're not big. And then when you hear him do, like, I'm going to do Still of the Night, when you hear him go up and do his upper register stuff, it's just kind of a belted out falsetto that he's just throwing down like an old American car hemi engine or something. And I treat it with a lot more pacing and a lot more technique to keep the throat open so I can last longer, okay? Now, he was able to hold on to his voice for a lot of years. I know he's lost a lot of his range and voice and stuff over the last few years. He's a lot older now, too. He's not that much older than me, actually. I know, he is, but not to that degree. And even my own cousin, Sammy Hagar, he's been able to hang on to his voice for a really long time, being more on the street side of singing rather than being technical about it. But it's my technicality that's giving me all the diversity that I can sing in a lot of different styles and maintain good vocal health. I'm 56, I'll be 57 this year, up into my upper years, right? So let's continue. Since my baby left me, I've been losing my mind. Right? Now, a confession. I like to over-sing like he does. I like the sound. It's dangerous, but I like it. Singing like this is an extreme sport. You're bound to get hurt, or if not, you could get hurt, okay? And if you don't know what you're doing, you probably will get hurt. But I like, baby, and I don't mind. I love the, just the kind of extra little, again, we're distressing the chords to get this kind of sound. And I like that, but I also know how to recover from that by using different techniques to clean up the chords and get my clean tones back so I don't forever sentence myself to singing in a dirty tone and have to always force these notes out. Whereas David is like that, and Hughes is to a large extent like a lot of the rock guys, like my own cousin Sammy Hagar is like that, where they've sentenced themselves that, when they kind of get stuck, they go, oh crap, I've just got to man up, get that diaphragm working and just spit out those notes and, heave up my vowel sounds and just, strangle my throat to squeeze them out. I come from a different school on that, on relaxing, releasing, opening up the space so I can get to my vowels a lot easier than that. I cover all of this in my singing course, by the way, guys. So, you kind of get the gist of this. So I'm going to move on. I'll put this in the description so you can hear the whole tune, but I want to kind of move on because I'd like to cover more elements of him, and then I want to dig into having other of my singers that do this as well. So the next step is... I'm going to do, let's do a ballad here. I meant to do this here. You guys remember this one, Is This Love? I should have known better than to let you go alone. Times like these can't make it on my own. Wasted days and sleepless nights. I can't wait to see you again. Now, he over-accentuates a lot of consonants and stuff, and I tell you guys, don't do that. You're going to stricture the throat. And sometimes we do it for effect, just like raising our larynx, right? We raise our larynx for effect, but we know that we better bring it back down or we're going to get caught and we're going to hit a ceiling or a wall where we're not able to go up any higher. Now, a couple things. First thing is, remember, guys, there's a lot of information floating around on the internet. This is really important. And everyone says how to sing like this guy, how to sing like that guy. Here are 10 tips for this, or 30 days to become a great singer, or I'm the most amazing popular vocal coach on the internet. Wah, 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 wah. Right? Gang, if they can't physically show you how to do it themselves, if they don't demonstrate it themselves, and if they also don't demonstrate other students doing it, they can't teach you how to do it. Straight up. I may not be your guy, and that's okay. Wherever you get your information from, make sure that vocal coach can do it themselves and do it well. Not a little line, one little line in a song, or a couple words here and there, or a tip or trick. Here you go, boop, 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 boop. Give you some weird thing to do to show you how to get in some space that they're showing you how to sing like somebody. Have them sing entire songs and in a lot of different styles, and have them demonstrate students that do it. And I'm not talking about grabbing some auto-tune student, some kid off the internet and making that the front of your ad and saying, oh, look at she does it. You know, they've been doing my course for forever. It's like, come on, guys. If you believe that, I've got some sand I'd like to sell you in the Sahara Desert, okay? So anyway, with that said, I say that because I'm physically trying to walk you through this stuff step by step like I do in my course so you can really genuinely see how to get to these places, all right? Here we go.
I find to spend my time waiting on your call. How can I tell you, babe, my back's against the wall. I need you by my side to tell me it's alright, 'cause I don't think I can take anymore.
Now, before I get to the chorus of this, David and I, unlike Lou Gramm and I, from the Lou Gramm video that I did, I told you it's out. I don't know when it's going to be out. So it may be on the internet now or it may be later after this. I'm not sure when these will release. But I'm more closely related to David's vocal fach, his range. So David's a high baritone, so am I. So we have very different vocal ranges. And I love the fact that when he sings though, you know, it's been my time waiting on your call. How can I tell you, babe, my back's against the wall, right? I love that tone, that kind of sound, you know, in the voice. And he kind of carries that through the full spectrum of his voice. So I like that. So how he's doing it is he's also holding his breath, but he's leaning into it without the distortion. He's using pre-distortion, you know, just before you distort the voice, he's using that effect to get this tone. So if you're wondering, how do I get good tone? How do I get my tone? That's one of the ways you do it is, how can I tell you, babe? It's almost like a Fry kind of thing. How can I tell you, babe? My back's against the wall, right? And I like his vibrato. You know, he's just a sexy singer and he's macho sexy, which is cool for me. I like that. So anyway, I'm bringing that up. And then he does open his throat when he gets to his vowel sounds. It's a big growly kind of sound. You'll see what I'm talking about when I get to Not Still the Night. Another Coverdale song.
Is this the love that I've been searching for? Is this love? Or am I dreaming? This must be love. 'Cause it's really got a hold on me. It's got a hold on me.
A lot of people say, oh, he's got that tone because he drank and smoked for a lot of years and destroyed his voice. Well, there's some of that. That's true. But I get the tone safely and can replicate it over and over again, reproduce it. And I haven't drank and smoked myself to death. So anyway, that's another part of David. The next part of David that I'm going to get into is, let's see here. I had it here somewhere. I might have to go back to well, before I get to that, sorry about this, guys. I had it here. I have glasses here, so bear with me. Anyway, so on the next thing that he did, like when he does, let's see here. Hold on. Where is Mr. David Coverdale here? Sorry, gang. I had this queued up, and then let's see here. Here I go again. I'm gonna fire this up. Here we go. I did have it up, but it was hidden. Sorry about that. All right, check this out.
I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going. But I sure know where I've been. Hanging on the promises and the songs of yesterday. I've made up my mind. I ain't wasting no more time.
Now let's do this together, you know.
I don't know where I'm going, but I sure know where I've been. Hanging on the promises and the songs of yesterday, right? He's got and he kind of over accentuates his vowels. He's got a little wide vibrato going on, but you can hear a little bit of that Fry, you know. So I made up my mind. I ain't wasting no more time, you know. Just another heart in need of rescue, waiting on love, sweet charity. But I'm gonna hold on. There's a hey,
and he's kind of leaning into that sound again as he comes up. Now, as I said, as he goes up top, he has to really reopen up that sound and not keep it so pinched and squeezed to get the tone that he's using on the bottom in order to be able to grab these notes coming up. Check it out.
Here I go again.
Hanging on to consonants, I tell you not to do, yet I'm doing it.
Here I go
for a fact.
again. Oh, I keep searching for an answer. Never seem to find what I'm looking for. Good Lord, I pray you give me strength to carry on. 'Cause I know what it means to walk along a lonely street of dreams.
Now I want to point out something very aesthetic and very small to you guys, okay? You know, right immediately before this part, and this will really help you rock guys out there, notice I'm covered on the sound because I want to sound tough and manly. So I'm covering the sound, which means darkening it and making it thick. Let me play it first and then I'll demonstrate it.
To walk along a lonely street of dreams.
Walk along! I'm covered. Lonely! I'm covered in street of... On street, I go street of dreams, right? So the minute I go up, I lose the weight, I shed the weight, and I get really small in the sound. I bring it into the front of the face, like we talked about Lou Gramm and a lot of other singers that do this. I'm able to get into that space without going flat or without, missing a lot of, the intonation of what it is that I'm doing. So I'm going in and out of these different little pockets. I cover all of this in my singing course. So here we go.
Here I go again on my own, going down the only road I've ever known. Like a drifter I was born to walk alone. I've made up my mind.
You can tell it sounds a lot like David, right? And so I'm just showing you how he got to all these places. Now I want to go towards the end here because I want to show you some of the high notes and stuff. So here we go. Let's move this up a bit. Here we go.
Like a drifter I was born to walk alone. I made up my mind.
Here's him. Right in here.
I ain't wasting no more time. Here I go again.
See, I've left the weight. It's smaller.
Here I go.
I do it 2 times, and I do one, the original version, and then that one I wanted to show off a little bit and take it up a little bit higher. So that's another part of David that we love. Now, I want to bring up 2 more instances because my student Gabriella liked David a lot too, especially after she's kind of grown up, on a lot of this music because of her dad. And she's from the Czech Republic, so they didn't get this music until later, like in the 80s kind of came Christmas came to them in like the late 90s and early 2000s. So she was actually more of a benefactor of this music being exciting about 10 years too late, so to speak. But I want to point this out because she loves, Fool for Your Loving. I'm going, Fool for Your Loving? Like White? Oh yeah, I love it, man. I love Maiden. I love Iron Maiden. Bruce Dickinson's one of her favorite singers. So this is awesome. So we worked this up. Check this out.
I was born under a bad sign, left out in the cold.
Female Coverdale.
I'm a lonely man who knows just what it means to lose control. But I took all the heartache and tidings to shame. Now I'm moving on, and I ain't taking the blame.
Pretty cool, huh?
And don't go running to me, I know I've done all I can. Just makes a heart-moving man. So I can say to you, babe, I'll be a fool for your loving no more. A fool for your loving no more. I'm so tired of trying, I always end up crying. Fool for your loving no more. A fool for your loving no more.
A fool for your loving no more.
Right? Isn't that awesome? So now, and by the way, I know the track sucks. We couldn't find a decent track, and I wanted to get this done when she was here, so I had to pick some cheesy track that I off the internet that I use. But anyway, so there's that. And then, yes, guys, I know there's an exchange between Glenn Hughes and Coverdale. Sometimes Coverdale saying certain things live, sometimes Hughes saying certain things live. We're going to do both kind of, combinations here, but I'm focusing on Coverdale. So we decided to do Burn. Check it out. Me and Gabby, here it is.
The sky is red, I don't understand. Past midnight, the city land. People say the woman is dead. She makes you burn with forever. Hey, yeah.
Pretty cool, huh? Lousy track.
The city's blaze, the toes on fire. Woman's flames are reaching high. We were fools, we call her liar. All I hear is burn.
We took this up 1 or 2 steps, I forget, and we had a really crappy track to use for this one too. Call him a liar! We even got like all that stuff done. It was fun. This cute little Czech girl from the Czech Republic, I think she's like 20 here. She might have been beat out by 19, 20 years old. And we're doing this stuff, and it's just been a lot of fun to see a younger generation really appreciate great vocalists like that. So anyway, gang, I'm doing most of this by request. So if you like what you heard, please like and subscribe to my channel and put in the description who you'd like me to do how to sing like so we can get to that. And definitely check out my next video.